Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Yolking Around. My name is Derek Mayo.
Welcome. I'm Diana Gutierrez.
How you doing today?
I'm kind of tired. I'm in grad school for people who don't know, and this is the last week, and there's just so much stuff due, and I'm just ready to be done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we've been preparing this show for you guys. Hopefully, you guys like it. Is a very serious topic that we're gonna be talking about today. So please do watch at your own discretion. We ask that you guys are respectful listening to this show, mostly because of the tragedy and the deaths that happened this past Friday at Astroworld. That's what this topic or what this podcast is going to be talking about today. So we're going to try to do our best job to cover every single angle as far as we know from the show. And there's a lot of things that need to be discussed, and we're going to try to discuss them as best as we can. But just letting you guys know that this podcast is going to be related to that. So a lot of you guys might be tired of hearing the news, the bad news. So if that's you, we advise you not to listen to this podcast. But if you're not aware, or if you don't know about what happened this past Friday at Astroworld, we encourage you guys to stick around and watch or listen to what happened at Astroworld.
Yeah, it's important to stay informed about this topic also, but just in general. This is just a horrible tragedy that happened. And was it last night that Ezra passed away?
Yeah. Last night, I believe it was the 10th person was confirmed dead. And it was a young boy of the age of 9, I believe, right?
Yeah, they were 9. Prayers out to his family.
Yeah, and all the other souls that they could please rest in peace. And and we're just gonna go and sort of dissect this whole tragic event that happened, and we're gonna try to give you guys every single angle and all the scoops that we could find and dissect, right?
Yeah.
So let's start.
Yeah.
On Friday 5th, NRG Park hosted Astroworld. At around 9 p.m., Jock Burnham Webster, better known as Houston rapper Travis Scott, hit the stage as the countdown came to an end on a gargantuan portal-like jumbotron screen. Mr. Scott catapulted up onto the stage where he performed for his now infamous Astroworld event. If you didn't know, Travis Scott hosted a massive event because I believe he doesn't do concerts quite a bit. So he just decides to gather everybody and just do a whole festival dedicated to who he is and his art and his music, right? So that's what Astroworld is for those of you guys that are new to this. This has been happening throughout the years, and it has been a messy event every single time. There's been people getting hurt, asphyxiating,
Rioting,
etc., raging, etc., right? All right. His appearance at the show caused a massive crowd surge towards the front. And this where things started to take a horrific turn. Basically what happened, he popped out of stage. Everybody decides to flow towards the front of the stage. If you don't know, in the front of the stage, for security purposes, they have this gate. And a lot of people that were in the front got smushed towards the front because of this surge that happened. and basically it ended up asphyxiating a lot of them because they were right next to the gate.
Right.
His first song on the deadly menu was Skate Plan, song that he had just released the day prior. This would become an irony as the incident started to take place. And we'll get it a little more into why that became an irony. Houston ambulances and policemen rushed over to the event, and it was announced that a mass casualty event had happened. He started playing at around 9. There had been people already passing out throughout the show at an earlier stage of the phase of the show.
Right.
You see people pass out all the time in events. So people were just like, it's just people being dehydrated, people just needing air and not taking, conscientious measures in regards of show attending and crowd, crowds management.
I mean, that's just a quick side note. That's just a big problem as to the negligence. Just overseeing someone fainting. That's something that's normal in concerts now. It's like,
yeah, it has become a normality. I have seen it myself. I have gone to a lot of concerts, and yeah, you see people passing out, people having seizures.
Damn,
it is very intense. Well, don't you remember when somebody passed out like right next to us?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, somebody passed out right next to us,
Yeah.
and then they had to bring in the police because either they were just fainted or just too drunk.
Yeah.
But this does happen at events.
Right.
Friends, family, teens, and children were entrapped in a massive ocean of desperation and death. Ambulances rushed through the crowd, and the mayhem and disrespect continue as people remain stuck, breathless, all over the floor. Shortly after, Scott decided to continue the show. People could be heard pleading for help, gasping for air on different phone footage. Scott continued claiming that he was not aware of the situation. At around 9:42, Travis stopped the show as a passed out body of a young man crowd surfs throughout the stage in order to get out. This is the famous video that you see where Travis is on this sort of platform thing where he is elevated and sort of sees that somebody has passed out, a young man, and tells everybody to help him get to the front. This is one of the few instances where Scott was seen stopping the crowd and sort of trying to get somebody help, basically.
Yeah.
As the interesting thing about this is that as this is happening, there's not everybody's going crazy, but a lot of people are concerned and a lot of people are yelling to stop. They want the show to stop at this point. They're pleading for help. You can hear them on the background as this gentleman is being carried off the stage.
Yeah, they're saying stop the show.
Let's see. The arena became a death trap due to a number of reasons. And this is where the blame game starts. Some blame Live Nation, the multi-million event enterprise, that lacked preparation in many aspects, which we'll touch here in a sec. Others blame rapper Travis Scott for not stopping the show and being negligent to the mass casualty altercation that was taking place. Finally, the combination of lack of security enforcement, medical staff scarcity, and 50,000 plus crowd attendees were the perfect combination of this mayhem. These are the different elements of the incident being discussed on this tragic event. People, especially younger crowds, have spoken out on TikTok and news presses about the nightmarish event that happened that night at Astroworld. Some have even called this event a work of the devil or a human sacrifice that was premeditated by the rapper. Before we start, I want to send my deepest condolences to the families, the lost sons and daughters in this event that should have been stopped long before it had started. The 10 people that have passed away: Ezra Blunt, Danish Beg, Madison Dubisky, Rudy Peña, Alex Costa, Franco Patiño, Jacob Jurnek, Brianna Rodriguez,
Barty Shahani,
and John Hilgert. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that little intro, first of all, I want to hear what you got to say about this, and what you found out on your side of things. I know that when these stories started unfolding, I started taking over all over TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's where I was introduced to the news story first. Then I started looking into YouTube videos, news, and then reading articles about the show. I've gotten tons of information from different news sources that depict the story in very different ways. Some a little more neutral, some a little more leaning towards the victim, some completely disregarding the whole Travis Scott thing.
Yeah.
You know, not showing blame. That's what I mean by it. And sort of blaming Live Nation, the umbrella company that was behind all this. So I just want to hear what you have to say about this whole incident and what you found out on your side of things.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of different stories, a lot of different angles that this has been looked at, and there's people fully blaming Live Nation, fully blaming Travis Scott, the security guards. I don't think there's a finger to point to anyone specifically. It's everyone's fault. Like, this was a totally preventable event. It just should not have happened. You should not go to a concert and have to fear for your life. I go to concerts. I have family that goes to concerts, family friends that go to concerts. I don't want to have to think about the possibility of them dying just because they want to have a fun time and enjoy someone's music. You know, like, that shit shouldn't be happening. But who I think is the most to blame, me personally, I think it's Travis. Just because as an artist, you have to, a part of your job is crowd management. It's just, you have to be aware of what your crowd's doing. And not only that, but you as a celebrity have the power to influence the minds of other people on a mass level. You have access to millions of people that follow you. Which
is the scary thing about all this, that he just seemed to me as he was there not only for the music, but for the praise of the people.
Right.
And did not think twice about stopping the show.
No. And as we mentioned earlier, before, this shit has happened before. He's been arrested for inciting riots at his shows.
Yeah.
And I personally don't listen to his music. I don't really like what he stands for, what he's stood for throughout the years. I don't like him as an individual. But even if I did like him, it doesn't matter. Even if it was my favorite artist, I have to place some blame onto them. He was on a platform where he could see all the crowd. You can't say that he didn't see things. He saw the dude that fainted, and you're going to tell me that he didn't see everything else that was going on? Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is completely bullshit because he saw the ambulance come in.
Right.
He saw the ambulance. That should be the first massive red flag. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to notice the blue and red lights that are coming off of the ambulance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if I'm not mistaken, he actually told people to make room for the ambulance, but that doesn't make it okay still, because if I saw an ambulance at my show, I'd be like, what is going on? Like, obviously, like, something is not right.
Yes.
Let me stop and see what's going on, you know? That's negligence.
And you know what was interesting about that is that he did have the ambulance or people move out of the way of the ambulance. But I watched the whole show today. I watched the whole show that went live on Apple Music or some shit. And so they were showing the whole show, and you can see him stopping everybody and sort of letting the ambulance come through. But he starts the show minutes after he says stop. So the ambulance still has, like, by logic, the ambulance has to get out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Still. Meanwhile, you have people jumping disrespectfully, in my opinion, on top of the ambulance.
That shit's fucked up.
If you are a concert goer, I don't know what kind of mentality you're in order for you to cause such mayhem to someone that's trying to save somebody's life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lift the blame from Live Nation or Travis Scott.
Right.
But we as humans have to be accountable of our actions.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Travis Scott hasn't taken accountability for anything. And that's because of all the legal suits that are going on. So obviously his lawyers are like, oh, don't take accountability, blah, blah, blah. But
in his, the only thing that I've been seeing is that in his defense, he's saying that he was not aware. He could not see, which is, I don't know how you're not aware if there's an ambulance coming in. If you're seeing somebody passed out, being crowd surfed out of the stage.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging that you are seeing this shit happen.
Right.
So this is just unacceptable, really. And like you said, going back to the whole power dynamic that happens, he has the microphone. He has the power. The spotlight is on him.
Right.
He has that on him. He has the power to say, hey, everybody, sit the fuck down. You know, everybody needs to stop. Mm-hmm. We need to check what's going on here, and take a step back and sort of let everybody breathe. Mm-hmm. This guy saw the ambulance leave. He thought everything's good,
right,
and decided to continue the show.
And then after that, I think is when Drake came out, correct?
Yes.
After the ambulance thing?
Yes. Drake, which I have not heard anything about him.
He's in some legal trouble as well.
Bro, you can't be a coward, man. You got to face the consequences.
He made a statement. Yeah, he's in an Instagram post. Drake said his heart was, quote, broken for the families and friends of those who lost their lives and for anyone who is suffering.
That's all. That's all we get, man.
There was a little more, but like that was pretty much the gist of what he said. But
and I know
he's
that
not
there's
taking accountability whatsoever, which some people say like, oh, well, Drake is not responsible. But in a way he is, because he's also an artist who has influence. He had a microphone. He was on the stage. I've seen a lot of clips of artists, not just artists, but also influencers who have stage experience, and they know what it's like. They know that you have to be managing your crowd. Yeah. If you're going to incentivize these mosh pits, if you're going to incentivize this recklessness, these ground thumping stampedes, you have to know that it's like one tiny hair away from losing its fucking control. Right.
And Travis just seems like, I didn't know people could die. You know, that's how he seems. That's how he comes off to me. Like,
pretty much.
I was just about the riots and you know, partying and doing hard shit. But bro, it doesn't take much for life to be taken.
Yeah.
People were fucking asphyxiated in this show, asphyxiated due to the crowd surge, which will explain a little bit of the biology, or not the biology, but the what conforms crowd surges. I have an article that I want to read to you guys about that because I found it really interesting. And like I said, we want to touch different aspects of this, not just speak out of emotions, but also show you guys that these things could have been prevented. 50,000 people is a lot of people. There's definitely been shows with way more people. Electronic dance shows. The one EDC Vegas, I think it's one of them, where hundreds of thousands of people go. And you still don't hear these types of things. And let's be real, people are doing drugs. People are doing other shit that could lead to something more tragic. But yet we do not see this in larger crowds where things have been managed appropriately and correctly.
Yeah.
At around 2 p.m., a video hit Twitter where you see people just rushing in, destroying metal detectors, just stamping it into the stage or the concert. The entrance. Yes.
This video came out today?
No, these people. This video has been searching the web
Oh.
for quite a bit. It's
Okay.
one of those videos. I don't know if you've seen it. It's where people just you see people just kind of like trying to get in. It's still day.
Oh wait, actually, I think I have.
Yeah. It's still day, and people are trying to get in, and right off the bat, you see people getting stomped on, getting trampled, and nobody gives a royal.
Where's
fuck.
security? Huh? No. And I also heard that Travis was encouraging people to sneak into the event as well.
Yes, that is also another thing. It's kind of hard to stand by his side
Yeah.
if you see the continuous crumbs of events that happen. You see things like security is losing control over the crowd.
They never had control.
Exactly. Well, if you go, I was looking at this. It was a news reporter that attended the event, and she was doing a breakdown of every hour and the time that she was there.
Okay.
She actually stayed for the show, so she was telling the viewers, the audience that were watching the show, that apparently the show was pretty calm. Everybody was pretty calm during the day. About 5 p.m., where people start kind of like going. I think the show started around, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 or 3, or maybe even earlier. I'm not sure when it started, but
Travis wasn't performing yet,
no.
was he?
Travis
Okay,
wasn't
I didn't think
performing.
so.
Yeah,
Okay.
Travis wasn't performing. But the show was in a good stance before people started to break in, and as soon as people started to break in, there was a massive rush of people that started just infiltrating the event.
Yeah.
And it just led to this mass casualty event. There was no stopping him. Securities were nowhere to be seen. They had no crowd control. They had no experience. I actually have this guy. Let's see if I can find him real quick. I can't find him, but he actually was working as a guard for the show, but he felt like he was not prepared to what was about to happen.
The training was pretty shitty, right?
Exactly, yeah. And he said, I'm not gonna do this. He decided to walk off the job earlier that morning because he did not want to be part of that, because he felt like he was not prepared.
Oh, wow. Ugh, that kind of gave me the chills.
He was not prepared for this show. He went on a news, like I think it was CNN or something like that, and he was explaining his story. And this guy is telling the story and said, I told my higher ups that this was gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
And nobody did anything about it.
Fuck, man.
We saw different videos. Is there one that really stuck with you? One of the videos that you've seen throughout the week?
I think the one that keeps kind of replaying in my head is the one where a young man and a girl get on stage and actually tell someone that there's a dead body. Didn't do anything. Like, how can you not do anything?
Yeah, I believe it was Aiden Cruz and Sienna McCarty that went up and were telling the cameraman to stop the show.
Yeah.
You can see Sienna, if I'm mispronouncing, Miss McCarty saying to stop the show frantically. Like, she is
Desperate.
She's desperate. She needs people to pay attention to what's going on. And the cameraman, I don't want to put the blame on the cameraman, but he definitely, I know he was doing his job, but he definitely
just putting your job aside, if someone told me that sort of information, I would freak out, I'd be scared and I'd want to tell somebody else about it.
Yeah. I don't know how production works in those events. I don't know if Travis was hearing somebody tell him something.
Probably.
Tell, hey, motherfucker, people are dying. Or if they tell him, just keep going. And another thing that I noticed as I was watching the show is that a lot of people were not aware that things like this were happening, that people were passing out. Until like everybody started stopping. in those instances where he started stopping the crowd, they started noticing the shit was going down around them.
Yeah.
And then when the show was done, the people were trying to get the fuck out of there because of the lack of air and water and dehydration and all these things that piled up. Is when they started noticing that people were dying, man.
It's horrible. I want to bring up something that maybe you haven't heard of, but have you heard of the partnership Travis has done with BetterHelp?
No, I haven't actually.
Do you know what BetterHelp is?
No, I don't.
It's an online therapy service.
Okay.
So he's been having some criticism over that. Firstly, because people thought that he was making money and that it was more of a sponsorship. Mm-hmm. But BetterHelp said that it's just a partnership and they're not paying him. But it still came off kind of icky because BetterHelp has been in sticky water. They've been selling information to third parties. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they've been in hot water because of that. But basically, what the partnership is giving the Astroworld attendees a free month of therapy, online therapy.
Come on, give me a fucking break.
Right?
When I watched different interviews from different attendees, people that were there and survived and tell their story, these people are scarred, man. These people are psychologically scarred.
They have trauma now.
They have horrific trauma. All ages. Because we found all sorts of ages, from a 5-year-old surfing the crowd to
middle-aged
to even I think a grandma even got some, I can't remember her name, but she even got hurt because of the event. So you have a stretch of people from all over, a stretch of people from different ages that are now traumatized because of the event.
Yeah.
A lot of them are following with lawsuits to Live Nation, to Travis Scott, because of the damages that have been done to them psychologically and physically. And this is fucked up, man. How do you repair that? You can't repair that.
No, you can't get those lives back. Oh, I saw this heartbreaking video of one of the mothers of the victims, and she was desperate. She was like crying and wanting her baby back. It made me cry. I was like, fuck, that's so sad. Imagine going to a concert and you dying, and then your mom is reacting to that. Like, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah. People go to shows, man, because they want to have fun.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
But something else before it slips my mind.
Yeah.
It also is kind of dumb because BetterHelp already offers 1 month free. Most of the time, I've seen so many ads of BetterHelp. It's like, 1 month free. And that's why it's coming off as kind of like advertising, because they're kind of using that opportunity to get more people come to the application.
Yeah.
And BetterHelp has actually not known for very effective therapists. At least there's been situations where I read an example of someone who used the application, and I think they were having suicidal ideation, and then they were talking about it. And I guess the therapist got up to make a smoothie and like completely left their patient alone.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like stuff like that. That's like.
Yeah, because it's hard for it to be monitored, because it's like a Zoom call. No, it's just you connect with a specialist, and that you talk about your problems and whatnot, and the things that you're suffering through. And I mean, I don't know much about this BetterHelp thing. I know that I've heard of platforms that help you sort of engage with a therapist through a computer.
Yeah.
But no, I did not know anything about that. So
yeah, but the 1 month thing is total bullshit. That's not enough time to work through trauma at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
The first few sessions, I only speak of this because I'm studying I'm studying to be a therapist, so I know the first few sessions are meant to just build the relationship. You're not going to get into the really traumatic stuff right away. So
right.
So I think just Travis Scott offering that is kind of damage control. Maybe something that his lawyers told him. That's just me thinking like, oh, like do this and people will think this and that, but it doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, and a lot of people want to excuse Travis because he has done a lot for Houston, apparently. Houston boy, Houston raised.
Oh.
And he has helped and done a lot of charity work in Houston. So they have him on this pedestal. And this happened. And, you know, I know that everybody's entitled to their opinion, you know, respectfully. But what really confuses me and really breaks my heart is people that still support him.
Yeah.
People that still, to me, are brainwashed by an artist and don't want to face the fact that he did something heinous that day.
Yeah.
That he, in my opinion, he committed murder. He did not stop this event. He decided for it to continue. So therefore, he was an accomplice. He was an accomplice to this.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like this is a very severe example of how it is such a detriment to society, how much we idolize celebrities, because there's been countless examples of the times when, if you buy into cancel culture, where celebrities should have been canceled. Years back when Chris Brown, the news came out that he was abusing Rihanna. People still support Chris Brown despite all of that.
Yeah. And sometimes it seems like we're canceling the wrong people for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's still walking around, partying it up. Did you see? You saw his apology video on?
It was bullshit.
Instagram. Completely disingenuous.
Yeah,
bro. I went as far as to watch someone that is like a behavioral list. Like if you do shit with your hands, you know, little things.
Studies mannerisms.
Exactly. And breaks down the video, and he says that he's bullshitting. You know, I'm not saying that. You know, that makes it true. But I went as far as, you know, somebody studying his mannerisms and the way he's voicing his apology.
Yeah.
And it's just total rubbish. It's just BS what he's doing. So, I don't know, man. I am a spiritual person. I am a spiritual person. I don't want to say I'm a religious person. Yeah. I'm a spiritual person. And I feel like that show helped a lot of people that were there start looking into their spirituality. Because dark energy, dark vibes happen at that show. Something dark happened at that show. Whether it's not just psychological, man. It's not just physical. It's also spiritual. What happened there was spiritual as well. And a lot of people don't want to get into that. But a lot of people found themselves in a dark spot at that concert. And they saw the light. They saw that there's another part of spirituality. There's two sides. Like there's two sides to everything, man. I always say yin and yang, man. Positive and negative. If you're dwelling on negative energy, negative shit is gonna happen. You're gonna attract that thing.
Yeah.
There's been even talks about the music that was being played right before Travis Scott came out, which apparently there was nothing going on. Apparently there's like these low frequency sounds that can make you anxious, can make you have a physical reaction.
Yep.
So in a way, it just seems like Travis Scott was kind of buttering everybody up to lose control. And that's dangerous, man. That there's crowd etiquette. A lot of these younger generations just want to go to shows and experience the vibe and experience the energy. But some aren't prepared. Some aren't informed. Take water. Eat correctly. You know, be safe. All those ideas from someone that has gone to concerts and seen shit like this happen. are ignored. Nobody is prepared. It's not just about showing up. Like I said, it's about
knowing the culture.
Knowing the culture, exactly. You can't tell me that Netflix put out a documentary not too long ago, like a few years ago. I was watching it with Chan.
The Travis Scott?
Of Travis Scott, yes. I don't know if it's still there, but Netflix put out a show. Chan and I were watching this shit. Bro, it's mayhem. It's mayhem. I think you were the first one to tell me, did you hear about what happened with Travis Scott? And I was unimpressed. I was just like, yeah, they get fucking crazy. Because of that documentary that I saw on Netflix, I was able to see that I did not like the energy that this guy was bringing up.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I was just like, why are people fighting? Why are people rioting? Why is that cool? Why? That's where in my head, that's where I ask the most questions. Why are we so flipped? Why are we so quick to go praise somebody that doesn't give two fucking shits about it, about you, about me, about us? Just to get to, see
him with your own eyes.
See with your own eyes.
Breathe the same air as
them. And seeking attention.
Yeah.
To me, it's just baffling how much people want attention from this fella. Like, what's going on? What's going on with the youth? What's going on with us? That we are so in need of attention.
Validation almost.
Validation. To the point where you ignore the person that's next to you. The kid that it's right next to you. The girl that's next to you.
The one that's getting CPR and you're still raging.
How do you ignore that, man? How do you defend someone like that? This can't just stop. I hope Travis gets what he deserves.
And that's the thing. When he got arrested a few years back, that's when accountability should have been taken, and he just got a slap on the wrist.
I think it was on his show on Astroworld 2017 that there was somebody that was basically like something happened with his back or something like that. He's now paralyzed. Yeah. Paralyzed, cannot move. This happened back in, I believe, 2017. Don't quote me, but I'm almost 100% sure that it was in 2017. And this guy was on a wheelchair. Bro, that's not fucking cool. That's not cool. And you know what scares me the most about this? What scares me the most is that if this guy doesn't get the justice that he deserves, he's just gonna be bragging about it in other songs. That's what it feels like to me. Oh, I cause shows that people die for me, and people do this, and they don't give a fuck. And bro, watch who you follow, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Watch who you follow.
That's why, for me personally, I cannot separate the artist from the person from their music.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Well,
because by supporting their music, you're supporting that person, even inadvertently.
Yeah, you're right. I went and did a small video on Snapchat the other day, kind of giving my 2 cents on the music aspect of things, because music normally tells more about a person than what the artist is really trying to put out there.
Right.
And what I mean by this is, if you feel represented or feel like you are affiliated by music that brings out bad energies or has a bad message, then you yourself as a listener have to put yourself on check as well. Like, is this really what I want to listen to?
Right.
Is this really what I want to feel my soul, the thing that's inside me? You got to be careful with that too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a similar idea as to if you want to get to know a person, get to know their friends.
Exactly, yeah.
Who they're hanging around. It's the same idea.
100%. And it's just you as a subject decide what to listen to. And you're free to listen to whatever you like.
Of course.
But you have to have parameters, man. You have to have an understanding. You have to have a spiritual understanding about the things that are going into your head and influencing what comes out of your mouth, what comes out of your body, what you say, what you think. Surround yourself with positive shit, you know? I'm the type of person that stand right in the middle. Learn about the negative so you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about the enemy so you don't follow. But always remember that you're trying to go to the light, to the positive side of things, whatever that would be. And people get lost. People lose sense of that. You know, they don't care. It seems like they're like, I just want to listen to this and fuck everything and fuck the world.
Yeah.
And bro, that's the most selfish thing you could be doing. That's exactly what happened that night. People were selfish too. Not just Travis Scott. People were selfish as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get that video for the gram. Trying to get that picture of Travis, of Drake. There was a sense of selfishness that day. And we've seen people in rock concerts, clips of people stopping the show completely.
Right.
And the mentality of this mosh pit, which I don't agree by any means. I know it's a release of energy. Right. I know people are, trying to create havoc. And I know that there's a whole etiquette that goes along it, where if somebody falls, they pick them up and stuff like that. Yes, there is an etiquette, but we also have to be conscientious and be respectful. That's the main thing, man. Be respectful of what's happening around you, man. Of the people that are around you.
Be conscious of what's around you, yeah.
Exactly. People lose respect. So easy to lose respect. And everybody demands it. That's the thing. Everybody demands respect, but nobody's willing to give it. The minute that nobody shows respect to you, you get aggravated, you get angry. But if you're not, you're a mirror, man. You reflect what you give. You got to give respect.
Period.
Surround yourself with people that will respect you. Sadly, that wasn't the case at Astroworld in 2021. Shows like that are managed wrongly for somebody to just get their paycheck.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Live Nation. I'm talking about Travis Scott and his entourage.
Not worth 10 lives and plus all the injuries.
Exactly.
It's not even worth one life. It's not.
And then I believe Kylie Jenner and her sister were there, and that was a whole thing.
Her sister was there?
Kendall, yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they showed the VIP. I just found this out. They showed the VIP booth, and I believe they were both there.
Okay, but yeah, this whole thing with Kylie, she is saying that they didn't know what was going on, and there's an ambulance in her Instagram story. Like, really? You don't know what's going on? Which
she took down, no? They didn't. Probably. She took down right away or something like that?
I'm not completely sure, but she probably did just to cover her own ass. But you can't. That's lying through your teeth. Yeah. You see an ambulance, the first instinct is, oh, something is wrong. Yeah. You can't tell me.
Selfishness, man.
Yeah.
Selfishness.
And then after that, a lot of articles were like, pregnant Kylie Jenner and Stormy come out safe. I'm like, okay, like what about all the rest of the people? Why is her life any more important than anyone else's?
Yeah. There's no denying it, man. You can I've looked at it from different angles. I've tried to be objective.
You can't.
But you can't. Exactly. You can't. There's too much evidence. There's too much proof showing that Travis knew what the hell was going on.
I've seen a lot of coverage of this. A lot of influencers and different personalities of the internet kind of talking about the situation. And if they're neutral about it, that's kind of like a red flag to me. Like, this is something you shouldn't be neutral about.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%. And that's why I wanted to make this podcast, because I people that I follow, people that I really like, that make content, have not talked about it. First of all,
disappointing.
And if they have touched the topic, it's lightly, with a grain of salt.
Such a big letdown. And
bro, you guys should be using your platform for this type of shit.
Yeah.
Then why the hell do you want your platform? I know it's not your duty, but if you're claiming to be an influencer, what kind of influencer do you want to be? That's straight up.
Yeah.
Positivity, man. That's what it's about. Empathy. That's what it's about. Everything else is selfish to me, man. Information, yeah, you all have. Take a second. Take a second, man. And actually pay respect to people, man. If you really have a following and you can make an impact on young people's lives, do it.
Yeah.
Do it for the positive. Don't be scared. It's not just about the views. It's not just about the millions. It's about the lives of everybody. The lives that you can change for the positive. I hope that's your mentality as an influencer, as an artist, whatever you are, as a person.
Yeah, not even just what kind of influencer do you want to be, what kind of person do you want to be?
Exactly. Yeah, forget the fucking tags. Yeah, forget the fucking tags. It's about who you are as a human being. And I don't know Travis, I don't know Kylie, I don't know any of the Kardashians, I don't know any of them personally, but I do know this. These 10 lives are gonna hurt you guys. And not just Travis, but everybody around them. They're gonna, whether they like it or not, this is gonna affect them.
Yeah, I believe in karma, and whoever is responsible, any slight responsibility, anyone who is slightly responsible, they're gonna get the karma they deserve.
Amen. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a rough week, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I went through a rough patch this week, listening to everybody's story, hearing people literally go on YouTube and tell their personal story, saying that it was something hellish, something that was like being in hell. People were literally so close together that some people couldn't even touch the floor. They were literally sort of floating there, being compressed. As the crowd surged, people that were tall were the luckiest because they could breathe.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in the bottom couldn't breathe. There was no room to breathe. It was a crowd asphyxiation. That's what it was.
That's got to be terrifying. I can't imagine. The only slight I don't even want to compare it, but I went to a concert once at my old university. Mm-hmm. And the artist was also encouraging, it was Lil Yachty, I don't care. Lil Yachty was encouraging people kind of to do the same shit, like rage, mosh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I kind of got in the middle of it and I couldn't breathe, like for a few seconds only. And like now imagine for that going on minutes on end. Like, yeah. And that's a very micro example. I don't want to really compare it, but that's got to be horrible.
Yeah. I've never been in that situation. Like I said, I've always been sort of a bystander and seeing these things happen. I'm the type of person that if I go to a concert, I don't want to be in the middle.
Yeah.
I like my space, so I'm okay with being sort of towards the side of things.
It's just, you're there for the experience, man. Why do you want to be so close to somebody?
To me, it's just like, bro, I care about the music that's being played. I care about my friends, my family, the time that I'm having.
The experience that you're going to make.
Exactly. The artist, I don't give, as bad as it sounds, I don't give two shits about what's going on there because I'm there for the music. I'm there for the experience, for a positive experience. I'm there for my friends and for my family, Yes, I do like the music. Yes, there's artists that I do like.
Of course.
But my main priority has always been the music part of things. And I don't know why. That's just something that's always been sort of clicked on me. I've never been sort of let's go fanatic. See. Yeah, like over fantasize over something like that. Thank God, thank God. Because at that point, it's almost like idolatry. It seems like. You know what I mean?
Idolatry, yeah. Oh, idolatry.
Yeah. Coming back from a brief stop just to check the cameras. I just want to show or read this article by Vox. And they basically explain what happens in crowd surges, why they sort of happen. We know the reason why, crowdness, but just sort of the scientific parts of things,
cool.
for lack of a better explanation.
Yeah.
So, what is crowd surge and how it can be prevented? The injuries and deaths at Astroworld were most immediately the result of crowd surge. The sheer number of people present, the inability to quickly access medical help, and strained personnel resources created a deadly environment. Crowd surge can occur when a large group of people is densely packed in a tight space. According to experts, it often happens when the crowd is running either away from a perceived threat or towards something they want. In this case, the performers.
Yeah.
Performers, I guess.
Yeah.
Before hitting a barrier. Obviously, there's something that stops you, right?
Yeah.
Jennifer Matarese, a writer and the host of Disaster Area, a podcast about disasters and tragedies throughout history, has researched crowd crush in her work. She says that time and time again, crowd crush is preventable with the proper infrastructure and control measure. While some people have tried to imply that what happened at Astroworld is specific to rap fans or young people in the crowd, Matt Therese has studied similar events that involve all kinds of people. In 1883, England, thousands of children gathered for a show, and over 100 of them died in a stampede.
Wait, this was in the 1800s?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy.
Being trampled, because they had been promised free toys at the bottom of the theater, she said.
Oh, what the fuck?
Aside from being trampled, the danger is compression asphyxia, which is the side effect of these surges, which is what I was talking about, literally getting asphyxiated by the compression of bodies. Serious forces coming from many directions, which makes it impossible to breathe. It is not a matter of mosh pits or rap music, she explains. It's crowds. The type of thing has happened at supporting events, religious festivals, rock concerts, bars, even a game show in the Philippines. It's a matter of crowd and an incentive driving them forward. It's not a matter of who's in the crowd, and it doesn't make them any rougher or any worse of people if there is a crushing incident. The Astroworld disaster reminds Matt Therese of a similar tragic event at a Pearl Jam concert in 2000, which we're going to get into because there's another theory that has been happening about this whole Travis Scott thing.
Okay.
And the correlation that it has with Pearl Jam, with the Pearl Jam concert in 2000. We're going to get into that. Where 9 people died in a crush. The difference, however, is that the show was stopped to prevent further harm. Travis Scott doesn't seem to have done anything. I've been really frustrated because it didn't seem like there was as much crowd control as necessary, considering the artist, who has a history of inciting the crowd to not listen to security. End quote. So we're going to end there. So there you go. You have a specialist in this. People that have experience or just studied the psychology part of thing and why and the I don't even know, like the physiological parts of things when it comes to crowd surge and how people just get encapsulated in these events, in these pockets, and they just get compressed to death. So you have people that are specialists coming out and saying that this event should have never happened.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable if they would have had the correct infrastructure and if they would have just gave a damn about it.
Yeah, I hear the safety plan they have was complete bullshit as well. I read an article about this what's his official title? A concert safety expert. So he basically went through the plans that they had for crowd management, crowd monitoring. He basically said it was bullshit.
There you go.
So another expert.
It's just I'm really I'm telling you, I went on a frenzy and try to find different sides of the story so that people could see that it's not just something that I'm saying. It's something that I'm reading. It's something that analysts and specialists have analyzed and came forward and talked about.
Yeah.
Actually, Troy Finner, the chief of Houston Police, went to Travis Scott trailer hours before the show and told them, "Hey, listen, this is dangerous." He said that he did not want to directly interfere with the whole thing because he was scared of rioting happening. Basically telling people, no, this is not going to happen. And then people just go to the street. Thousands of people go to the street and then rioting.
Who said that? I'm sorry?
Troy Finner, chief of police of Houston. So I don't even know if they had the permits. If they did, they had the permits for a certain amount of people. But then these other hundreds of thousands of people come in and just basically
infiltrate the
event, which makes everybody lose their fucking wits, their shit, because they can't control it at that point. I don't even know, like we said, after the show started developing, they saw that this was getting on the edge. They saw that this was getting very dangerous. So I don't know, man. There was a nurse. She was trying to give attention and CPR to other attendees that were on the floor, and she just passed out.
God.
So she had to I believe her boyfriend crowd surf her out. So we have medical specialties. People. She's an ICU nurse, so she's used to seeing some tough shit, man. And the way she tells the story, she's like, I'm fucking traumatized, man. That was horrific. I looked this way, I looked that way. People were passing out. People were going into cardiac arrest.
Fuck. Yeah, there was not enough medical staff at all.
Yeah, and then there was that. There was no preparation. People were I was watching one of the paramedics that was in there on TikTok. As well. And he said, there's nothing I could do. There's only so much I could do. Sorry. I don't have, 10 hands, or, I can only do so much, and I have to focus. There's a structure that they have to follow to help somebody in need.
Yeah. When
doing CPR, you have to check back on him, and he couldn't, just because of the masses of people just, getting out of there and just losing who he was with, basically.
Yeah, his partner, because I do believe they have to switch off, but the demand was too much and they had to separate.
Yeah.
Fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, man. I like I said, man, I don't know. What hurts me is that people do not look after other people, man.
Yeah.
That's what's really disheartening about this whole situation.
There's no humanity.
Wake up, man. That's all I'm asking, man. Just wake up. Be aware.
I don't think he even cares about his fans, because there's.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I mean, you said he pretends. But I also saw a clip of an older concert. I'm not sure what year this was in, but he took his shoe off or something.
Oh yeah.
A fan. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Somebody took his shoe or something.
Yeah, and then he encouraged others to beat him up.
Yeah, to fuck him up.
Yeah. Those
are his words. And people were telling him to stop, and he was just like, "Y'all know what you came for." This wasn't Travis. These were Travis Scott words. Y'all know what you came for.
Yeah.
Which tells me this motherfucker had no intention on stopping the fucking show. No intention whatsoever. I just want to start wrapping things up with the alleged conspiracy theory that's happening. And I don't know. A lot of people say it's a conspiracy theory, but it seems pretty spot on to me. There's something definitely weary and creepy about this whole incident that happened. So How about we do this? I'll have you read the article first
Okay.
that we have from Rolling Stones and Pearl Jam, and then I'll start developing the story or the theory after.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. So
All right,
it's
go.
from Rolling Stone. Keep in mind, this was posted in the year 2000. So
The year the incident happened,
right,
correct?
correct, yes. On Friday, June 30th at 10:15 p.m., Per Johansson reported for duty. A volunteer security guard at Denmark's Roskilde Festival. Johansson took up his assigned position in the narrow pit between the crowd barrier and the orange stage, the largest of the festival's 7 performance areas. That's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a big stage.
And looked out at the approximately 50,000 fans waiting to see Pearl Jam. So that's approximately how many people were at the Travis Scott concert.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, so that ties in?
Well, I don't know, but it's very interesting that it does. It's about 50,000 people. 50,000 people were talked about on the Travis Scott thing. So
Okay.
kind of interesting.
The size of the audience, Johansson says now, was nothing special. It was really crowded, but not dangerous. Johansson, 37, had done security at Roskilde for the past 10 years. We'd had that size crowd before, he notes, and there was no problem. So that kind of plays into, it's not about the crowd size, it's about how you manage.
Like I said, there's been other events that have hundreds of thousands of people, and you don't hear of a mass casualty event taking place, that's what's like, come on, what's happening here?
Let me read the last paragraph here.
Go ahead.
Within an hour, the area directly in front of Johansson had turned into a rock and roll hell. 8 young men, aged 17 to 26, suffocated to death in the mosh pit as Pearl Jam performed. A 9th man died in the hospital 5 days later. The Roskilde Festival, one of Europe's most popular summer concert events, held for the past 29 years in the small farming community of Roskilde, 25 miles west of Copenhagen, had become the scene of one of the worst concert-related death tolls in rock history, just too short of the tragic stampede at the Who concert at Cincinnati's Riverfront Coliseum in December 1979.
All right. So that's a brief story about what happened at Pearl Jam, or with Pearl Jam in this concert in Copenhagen. Okay. Now that you have a brief introduction to the story of what happened in Pearl Jam in Copenhagen in the 2000s, what's funny about this is that Travis Scott released 2 new songs right before the Astroworld incident. One of them being Escape Plan, which is very ironic due to the fact that the event took place and nobody or everybody was pleading to escape.
Yeah.
Correct? What made this even more scary to me was that I was watching a lawyer talk to the news about the incidents, because he's representing a couple people that, well, a lot of them actually that attended this show, and he kept saying, yeah, there was no room for escape. There's no room to escape this atrocity. He kept using that word, and it's just it just connects very weirdly with the whole situation and with the whole song.
Yeah.
Now, to take it even further, in the song, Travis Scott is seen wearing a Pearl Jam shirt. Okay? Right before this incident happened. So the music video shows Travis Scott using a Pearl Jam shirt where 9 people died, sorry. And now you have this mass casualty event where 10 people died and counting, because we still don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
We still don't know if this is the end. There's a similarity there.
Right.
Now, another weird thing that happened was that at the beginning of the show, the first song that was played, I believe, was Escape Plan. Okay? In the back, you remember how I said in the intro that there was a Jumbotron-like screen towards the back that looked sort of like a portal?
Oh,
So in the back of that, you could see an eyeball. It's an eyeball that just kind of moves and looks at the crowd, right? Well, ironically, or coincidentally, yeah, Pearl Jam had this album that had come out, and the artwork on the album, it's called that was called binaural. It's an eyeball with a figure 8 or an infinity sign on it. Okay, that same eyeball it looked like the same eyeball was placed on the Jumbotron at Travis Scott concert. So a lot of people are saying that he was actually paying homage to the incident, to Pearl Jam, to this whole thing that had happened in the 2000s.
Oh, shit.
So that's something that's been going around. There's other things that I don't think they're that serious. Like, for instance, they had 8 flames.
Oh, okay.
In representation of 8 souls. You know how at the beginning it was like 8 souls, or not 8 souls, but 8 people were dead, and then the 9th and the 10th came out
later.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing. And then there's a lot of symbolism that was displayed at the show.
He had a lot of devilish.
He had a lot of dark toned, you could say demonic or esoteric type of imagery on the screen. And a lot of people are analyzing a specific situation that happened when that gentleman was being carried off
to the front,
where he is just kind of singing and saying with the auto-tune effect that he has on his voice, but he's like looking at him and just kind of like just saying in a creepy way. Have you seen that video?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. So as he's going, he's like, like just randomly kind of chanting as this gentleman is being carried out. So a lot of people came out and said that their personal experience, that they're not even religious, and they were like, it felt like hell. It felt like I was in hell. It felt like a portrayal of hell.
I mean, and that's more than one person saying it.
There was words on the Jumbotron that said things like "see you on the other side."
Yeah, and I think that's on his album cover too, or something like that.
I'm sure, yeah. So he's leaving these breadcrumbs of or nuggets of weird imagery and symbolism throughout his show, and then 10 people happen to die, and he happens to be wearing a shirt that homages a band that had a mass death incident back in 2000.
I don't know. I mean, I'm normally not one to buy into conspiracies, but that seems like a little too many coincidences.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the details of the Pearl Jam incident. Do you know why? Was it kind of similar? There's just too many people surging, and that's why they got asphyxiated, or?
Yeah. That's what it was saying on the article. But the thing is that the band decided to stop the show.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference.
There was a difference there. The band was aware of this and was like, "Hey, we need everybody to take a step back." I think the lead singer was like, "Everybody needs to take 3 steps back," or something like that. So there was some crowd control from the band.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing to compare with what Travis Scott did.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you buy into the conspiracy?
With me, I just want to say this. Like I said at the beginning, I don't want to say I'm a religious person, but I am a spiritual person. Okay? And I believe that there's things that can help you connect with the negative parts of spirituality. Whatever that is, energy, demons, anything. And I believe that at that concert, something like that happened. I believe that was a ritualistic Whether it works, whether it doesn't, it was a ritualistic event that happened that day. Because of the symbolism.
Would you say it was intentional then?
I believe it was intentional, yes. I mean, we've gone through the list of things. This could have been prevented. He was aware. He knew that the event was going to be havoc, raise havoc, and he still decided to continue with it.
Yeah. But I guess I mean intentional more as specifically 8 deaths.
With the 8 deaths things, I don't think it was specific. Now there's 10. More than anything, he was looking for something like that. Gotcha. That's what I'm saying. He was looking for something like that to happen.
I'd agree.
If he was paying homage to this Pearl Jam incident with the eyeball, with the year specific.
Yeah, it's just too much.
So, with that being said, I do believe that he planned it, and I do believe in bad spiritual beings, in spiritual energy, where people get so caught up in it, they get lost. They lose their soul. And there's going to be people that say, oh, it's only a satanic panic, like they like to call it. It isn't satanic panic. And the thing to look at even here, it's even if you don't believe in spirituality or God or the devil, even if you don't believe on that, there's people in this planet Earth that do believe in that, and they're also doing, just like they're doing good, they're also doing the bad,
right?
Whether they right or wrong, whether you say, oh, this doesn't exist, or that's just religious BS, it doesn't matter. There's people with a lot of money, with a lot of power in the industry, in the anywhere really, that do believe those things, that do believe in the negative spirits, that do praise negativity, and they have these things happen because of these reasons. You know what I mean? So even if there's going to be people that there's no way that God doesn't exist, you could be an atheist for all I care, but you got to understand that there's people that do believe in this. There's people that truly believe that human sacrifices are a thing, and they have a lot of power, and they're hosting these events for those specific reasons, to lose lives for whatever their ideology is. So that makes it's not just about a religious, part of thing. That it's just being conscious that there's people with power that are hurting people towards negative things. And it's not just Travis. This has been known. This has been known. And it's up to you to be aware of those things and be awake. And I personally think that this woke me up as a person in my spirituality, This woke me up because this means that the war is not over. There's people out there that want to fight this spiritual war and are winning and have the power. But that doesn't mean that we don't have the power. As people, as brothers and sisters, we have the power to express that positivity and stay away from that shit that is only going to bring you down. And I raise my hand. I've listened to plenty of Travis Scott's songs. The dude knows how to make music that will stick with you, that you'll remember. He is an artist, but he's not the best artist because of the person that he is, because of the artistry that he's putting out. And I'm all up for representation of every aspect, of every angle, because it's art. But when it requires you to impose, whether it is your ideology or your negativity onto someone, I feel like that's where we need to draw the line and be aware and stop these people.
Yeah.
Or stop, like you said, stop following them. Stop supporting their music.
Gosh.
But I think with that, we're going to start wrapping up.
Yeah, that was a lot.
And like I said, I had a lot to say about this incident. I was kind of saving it up, and that was eating me up during the week. I wanted to use my platform to help these people be recognized and remembered, because we're here to help, man. We're here to protect, be our brothers and sisters keepers. That's what we're here for, man. And hopefully there's no more incidents like this, which we don't know, but
I mean, as long as we're idolizing celebrities the way we are, I don't see this going away anytime soon. Events like this.
if this podcast reaches you, if this show reaches you, just take a second, man. Just take a second and really think about things. And like I said, you don't have to listen to me. You can just look it up for yourself, which I advise you guys to do. But I just wanted to use my platform, our platform, for this type of situations that we're going through, because I care about the youth. I care about the future generations. And I have, I am so optimistic. The younger generations to me are very smart. I think they're some of the smartest kids out there, man. But you know what they lack is things like perspective, humility. Humility is what I'm looking for. Consciousness, awareness. But anyways, with that, I want to close. Like I said, my thoughts and prayers to every single person that had to go through that, especially the families and friends that lost loved ones. Yeah. That the videos, the news press, and news reports, sorry, just truly heartbreaking. And you don't have to listen to me, but that's my 2 cents on it. That's your 2 cents on it. And we just want to wish you guys well, and
you guys find peace someday.
And yeah, just
and justice better be served.
And yeah, justice better be served. Yeah, I hope this doesn't just get dropped. I hope you don't forget, because I'm not forgetting. Mm-mm. I hope you don't forget and say, well, 2 people, people died. It happens, But anyways, fam, thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thanks.
I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers. Look for something positive in your life, man. Mm-hmm. Change your shit up.
Reflect on your own stuff.
That's all.
Reflect on yourself.
Yeah, that's all we can do. One person at a time. It starts with you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been awesome talking to you about this, Diana, and anything else you have to say before we take it away?
No, I mean, just reiterate, justice better be served.
Sounds good, fam. There you have it. Justice. Have a good one and stay safe. See you next time.